Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to another webinar from Formalu. I'm so excited about today's webinar. We're going to talk about logic, calculations, and how you can build up a form that's not just a form. It's smart, it's interactive, and it reacts to the user's responses, and it personalizes how what the user sees from you and your brand. So we're going to talk about different use cases, different scenarios that's possible with Formalu. Actually, there are so many, but in this 1 hour webinar, we will discuss like the basics and the advanced logic, how you can build up everything and how you can make it work for your business. So if you haven't opened your Formula dashboard, make sure to open it up now because this is a practical step-by-step tutorial and you can build everything as we are building it. So you can just follow up the steps. And we will create separate videos out of this webinar so you know exactly each and every different aspects of logic and calculations, and you can follow up after the webinar as well. So stay tuned for the video, stay tuned for the email, because the email we will send you after the webinar is going to be packed with different templates, different tutorials and videos that will help you to build up your logic and calculation use cases and scenarios. So I'm so excited. I want to invite Anano from our team to get started and go on with how you can build advanced logic and calculation forms and workflows.
Thank you, Nush. Hello, everybody. This is our first webinar back, so we are super excited to share pretty much everything about logic that you need to know. Nush brilliantly covered everything that we're gonna talk about today. I also want to make a quick announcement. We have an news to the way our webinars are gonna go from now on. Basically, everything that we're gonna do is going to happen in our dashboard. And aside from you being able to copy and follow our lead as we speak about these logic and other features, you will have access, especially those who are attending this webinar, you will have access to this dashboard so you can just start using it right away. So we're going to start from the beginning and we're going to go to some like complex use cases as well. And I encourage you, if you have any questions, make sure to ask them in the comments below wherever you're watching. So we're going to have the Q&A session where we're going to cover it. So I will go ahead, I will start, and we are starting from first ever step. So even if you have never heard of logic, we will cover it and we will explain it to details. So let me share my screen. So yeah, this is what our dashboard looks like. So our today's topic is to build once and automate forever. So everything you need to know for your workflow automation and how we can help you with that. First of all, let's start with the basics. Let's start from the beginning and let's start from what is logic. Logic basically defines how your form behaves and it adjusts to your user's answers and behaviors. So basically, it makes your form a smart form and it makes the user experience a lot better and the data processing also a lot more efficient and a lot better for you as well. To put it in a more simpler terms, what it is that if something happens, and I will tell you what can happen, then do this. However, this something, we have two events in Formula. What are these events? These are that when a field is responded, so for example, when a user answers a specific question, or when they submit a form. So basically, you can decide what happens after these two events, and you can define it. Or you can decide, like you can set many conditions. Like for example, if this, happens, then let's do this. Or if this happens, do this. We're gonna go into details. Bear with me. This is like simple explanations. I'm gonna show you hands-on covering as well. So basically, as I told you, we have two events, which is on answering the question events that occur, and then also on submitting the form. For on answering the question, you can set You can go into very details with conditions. You can define exactly what the answer should be, or somewhat what it can be like, or also like just define that if this question is answered, then do this. And I will show you this in details as well. And what you can do is you can show another field, you can hide another field, you can jump to another questions, or you can after submit do some other actions that we're going to cover. Or if once they submit the form, they can decide what will happen. They can decide if they're going to receive an email, maybe if they're going to be redirected to another URL. So everything can be defined, and we will give you this examples as well, but this is just introduction. And also there are some core logic elements that you need to know, and some like terms that will help you to understand this processes a lot better. And these are understanding what are rules, conditions, and actions. Here we have this like quick screenshot just to show you what it can look like. So for example, if this like answer to this question is option 4, and if also answer to this question is option 3, then jump to something. These, what we made here is called a rule. So basically you define a rule. Rule is a condition, an action that determines what happens if this condition is met. Then conditions are these things that you define over here. So it's like the statement that evaluates to a true or false based on one or more conditions. And you can use it with and or logic. An action is something that happens. So these are an item from a predefined list of actions, such as jumping to another field or skipping a section. So you can decide. I think it's going to be better if we go into the forms editor and if we go into actual logic, advanced logic, and show you this, how it looks like with the examples. But one thing that I want to point out is that we have two types of logic. It is show hide logic and jump logic. And it is different for different kinds. It's based on the form type. If your form is a single page form, meaning that all the questions are written on this one page, and it's separated maybe with some page breaks, then you need show hide logic. However, if you have this one question at a time, like multiple step form, then you can use jump logic. So you can jump from one question to another. And let us show you what it can look like. So I have created this very simple form with two fields. For example, if would you like to receive business newsletter? If the user answers yes, then they will be shown this field right here, where they will write their email where we will send this newsletter. And if they answer no, then they will not see this field at all. Of course, this is a better user experience and it is very easy to set up. So let's go into advanced logic. You can click on the field, then jump to logic. You can even set the rule from here, or you can go to advanced logic. I really like it, because it gives you like this very clear vision of what you can achieve and how you can achieve it. Let's go to advanced logic. So we see that we have these two fields, and then on submitting the form, this is the second event I was talking about. So you can decide what happens after user submits the form. So on submitting the form, what rule you're going to have. But for now, I just want to show you how this show hide logic works. So how we can hide this field if the answer to this question is no. As you can see, we have add rule, add rule, add rule everywhere, and then always, and then you can also define what the condition is going to be for this field always. Well, of course, before you define, always condition is going to be that the form is going to go on. We're going to display all the fields, but I want to change it now. So let's add a rule. You click on it, and then we need to fill in the information. So you can see if would you like to receive the business newsletter is, or you can also decide is not or is just answered yes in our case, then show. We will cover these other ones as well, but for now, look at this show this field. On which email would you like to receive the newsletter? Once we apply a condition to a certain field, as you can see, always changes to otherwise. Because we need to define, okay, if it happens, then of course we're going to show this field, but what happens if it doesn't happen? So if the user chooses no, then we have to set that otherwise that they have to hide this field, which is on which email would you like to receive the newsletter. I have set up my rule. I have it here. I'm going to save this logic. I don't need to do anything else. And now I will show you what the form is going to look like once we set this up. Let's go to view. And we're going to have this one field showing. So would you like to receive our business newsletter? And when I click on yes, I have this field pop up. I now I can see this field. However, if I answered no, I would not be able to see this field. So this is a very quick and simple explanation of show hide logic. Now let's go to the jump logic, which is for the one question at a time form. So show hide logic was for classical form, where all the fields are displayed on the same page. Now let's go what happens when we have one question at a time form. So we have this field right here, this form here. So for example, I'm asking feedback. I'm like, did you attend our previous webinar? And this is a single choice. Yes, I attended. No, I didn't attend. Let's add options. Or you can just use that yes, no field, which is just a shortcut for you. And I want to say that, yeah, if they attended, what did you like about it? Maybe they can write their feedback to us or review. It's the same concept, but since we have a multiple page, one question at a time form, logic works a little bit different. So let's go to logic. Let's go to advanced logic. And now rule is going to look a bit different, but the idea is the same. So if you attended the previous webinar is yes, then I want the form to jump to what did you like about it. Otherwise, then you can decide, for example, if you want a user just to submit. So if they say no to this question, they can just submit the form. So let's save this condition and I will show you what it looks like. Since this is a one question at a time form, we have this first field. So did you attend a previous webinar? I will jump to what did you like about it. However, if I answered no, then I would be able to submit. So I submitted the form. This makes more sense when we have like more fields in the form, definitely, and we have these use cases, but this is just a very basic explanation of what is the difference between these two and how you can use this too. Now let's go into some use case examples. And before I show you this, for example, party invitation template, I want to show you our amazing set logic, the new thing that we have with Formaloo, and most of you, all of you were very excited to have it. It is the set logic, which you can use to set the value of another field based on the response on the one of the other field. For example, we have this use case of lead segmentation. When you are generating leads, you can automate this process so that leads are going to be segmented by the form itself. So we have this simple form. What is your name, your email, how did you find us? And then I have this single choice field, which is an admin only field, meaning that users are not going to be able to see it. However, when I see the data, I'm going to see these responses. So for example, if they found us through social media, I want them to be set their lead to be set as the cold lead, or I want them to be a warm lead or a hot lead. So I want this process to be automated. This is how we do it. We go to logic and we go down here. This is already set, but I will show you anyway. So how did you find us? So if how they found us is social media, I want to set the value of my single choice field, which is the admin only field, which is lead, to cold lead. And these are the options of that field. Or if they found us through email marketing, I want to set the value of lead to hot lead. And you can have the same thing here. For example, if the option is 3, then let's set the lead status to, we have cold, hot, let's do a warm lead. You can, of course, go into more details. So let's save it. Let's go back. And let's see what it's going to look like. So when a person submits this form, let's submit the form. Let's write Anna. Let's choose social media. I submit, right? How am I going to see this response? Is through inserting a, for example, table, different data view. We're going to connect it to the same base that we have here, which is lead segmentation. And here I'm going to see responses. And as you can see, Anano, who I just submitted, and I found them through social media, I am automatically set to be cold lead. And then how you can manipulate this data, we have many options and we have many other webinars coming up also, and different webinars that we've already covered. So you can go ahead and watch those, but you can also definitely filter and sort by this table to fit your needs a lot better. But this is how the set logic works and how you can automate this process. And lead segmentation is just one use case. You can fit it to many different use cases. I will also show you this party invitation template to show you what the logic looks like here. So this is same for the RSVP forms. And let's submit the form so you see what the user experience is like. And by the way, all these templates are free. They're available for you, so you can just start using them. So I see, let's say, Anna. Will you be coming to the party? And this is the same thing that we use, that if I choose yes, then I'm going to be shown reader jumped to specific questions. If I select no, then I will just skip some questions. So let's say yes. And then I'm asked, like, which activities will you be most interested in, and if I'm going to have any dietary restrictions. I'm going to refresh the form and show you what is going to happen if I'm not going to the party. So when I say Anna and I say no, I will just submit the form and they will know that I'm not attending the party. So you can use the form logic to many different scenarios and cases, and we're going to cover them today. So yeah, this is to show you what the show hide logic looks like, and these are the basics that you now know. If you have any questions with this part, please make sure to ask them in the comments, and we're going to address them right away. Now I think it's time to go to the redirection and how you can decide what happens on submitting the form. So when a person, to manage what the user sees after the form submission. So after users submit the form, they have three options. You have three ways. They can either stay on the same page, they can see a specific ending page based on their responses, or they can be redirected to another URL. By default, as you can see, upon the form submission, an ending page will be displayed for them. But if you wish to redirect them to a different URL, you can also do it. And we have two ways for this. First way is to redirect the form to another URL completely. And another way is to show an ending page depending on users' responses. If it doesn't make sense, I will define it right now so it makes more sense to you. First one is to redirect the form to another URL. And we can do it. Let's test the form and I will show it from the form editor itself. I don't have many fields in this form, just to show you the feature of how you can use it. This can be done from the form editor. So basically, from the settings, you can decide redirect URL. You can write, for example, let's do google.com, www.google.com. This means that regardless of what they answer to the form, they are going to be straightly redirected to another URL. This other URL can also be URL leading to another form. So this is just a simple example of Google form, but you can also redirect users to your form in Formaloo or any other URL that you wish. So when you submit the form, we're going to be taken to the Google. So this is what happens. But you can also define and show an ending page depending on users' responses. This usually comes in handy when you're dealing with, for example, personality quizzes. It means that the user is answering some questions and they are going to be redirected to a specific type that they are. I will quickly show you. I will not go into too much detail yet. I will quickly show you what it looks like. So this is the personality quiz with different fields and different types. For example, socializer, innovator, observer, and adventurer. And you can have different ending pages. As you know, by default, you have one ending page, but you can add the ending page by clicking this plus icon down here, and you can name and design however you want this ending page. So we have the integrator, the socializer, the innovator, and the observer. So you can also define how these people are going to be brought to the specific ending page. And this can be done with the variable fields that we have here, which I'm going to address very soon. But just so you know, this is also an option to redirect to different ending pages. But let's get back because I want to show you how you can actually have conditional redirection based on responses. And this is the event that happens on submitting the form. So we're going to control it from the logic. So let's go to the form. And let's imagine I'm asking users, what is your preferred browser, Google Chrome or Microsoft Bing, for example? And I want that if they answer Google Chrome, they'll be taken to the Google search. And if they answer Microsoft Bing, they will be taken to Bing. This can be set from logic. Let's go and I will show you how it's set. So on submitting the form, the second event that we have, if the what is your preferred browser is Google Chrome, then after submit, they're gonna go to the link that you write here. Same for another option, which is the Bing. So if the preferred answer is Bing, they can, after submit, they're gonna go to the link, which is bing.com. And once you save it, this is what it's gonna look like. So which is your preferred browser? They choose Chrome, so they submit the form, and I'm taken to Google. And the same thing happens once you select Bing. And this can be used in many fields as well. This is just examples to show you how it works with some couple fields that we have here. Now let's go to the ability to calculate and how you can calculate anything with formula logic and what you need for it. Some people might say this is a bit complex topic because you might need to use the formulas and like different equations and stuff. However, we at Formula, we made it super easy for you to easily set up the calculations and formulas and everything for different, like even e-commerce, for like lead generation, for other use cases. So let's understand how you can use and calculate anything on your form. So, what are these variable fields that I briefly mentioned with the personality quiz? Variable fields are these hidden fields and values that allow you to calculate and also hold the weight of different like scores, for example, totals and outputs, which are based on the user input. For example, I had this example previously as well, but now actually this example can be made a lot easier with some tools, and I will show you how. But just so you have the idea, if I have a form where I'm asking which lamp users want and how many lamps they want, and I want to display what the total amount is going to be for them, for this form, I will also need variable fields. So, for example, if they choose the first lamp, which is going to be 20 euros, $20, I will need to have a variable field where I'm going to store the value of this answer there. So that variable field is going to be called an integer field, and it's going to collect this price using logic. I will show you how this is going to work. So if they choose, for example, bright lamp, we will add $20 to this first variable. If they choose medium light lamp, we will have 15, and the same for low light lamp, we're going to add $10. So this first variable is going to store the values that I'm going to define for it. Then when we have like how many lamps do you want? I want this variable, I want to do a calculation, right? I want to multiply the amount, the cost of the lamp to the amount of lamp that they want to have. So for this, I'm still using another variable field where I'm going to do the calculation. I'm just going to multiply the cost of the lamp to the amount of the lamp that they want. And for everything to work, we need answer piping. What is answer piping is that when you go into any of our forms, I will show you, we have these IDs for any field. So these are the identifiers of the field, and you can pipe values with answer piping. One example can be that, for example, if you're asking someone, what's your name? And you put the ID of name, and then they answer Anna, and I pipe this value somewhere else. I think I will very quickly create this to show you, if you don't know the concept of answer piping, of what it looks like, how it's used, very quickly. So for example, yeah, we have it here. So what's your name? If the name, we call this field ID name, and then I ask something else. I don't know. Let's just have a single choice field, and I pipe name here. So whatever people type here, but whatever question it's going to be piped here. Name, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Ice cream. I don't want to go into too much detail, but to show you how it works, it's going to be like this. So, anano, and the value is piped here. The same works with logic. However, with calculations, you can just use the IDs of the field and then do the calculations, set up the formulas using these IDs. As I told you, this example can be made a lot easier, and we made it a lot easier for you. And I will show you how. So we have this lamp calculator right here, where they can choose from these two lamps, and I want them to display the price of what it's going to be. You can, if you have this specific case, and if you're using for e-commerce, then you don't actually need to do all this calculation at all, and you can just use the product field that we have that does all the calculation for you. And in the forms, we already have built-in price variable, meaning that if they add this product to the cart, or if they add different numbers of this product, the cost is going to be multiplied by this number, and the price is just going to be displayed here. So we can have a content field which displays that you'll have to pay answer piped @ price. I will show you what it looks like. So for example, if someone chooses just one of these lamps, or they choose 2 or 3, as you can see, the number is automatically updated because, as I told you, we already have the price variable built in within the forms when you're using a product field. So it's super easy for you. But I will also show you other ways we can use variable field. So this is what it looks like. Very easy, very simple for you. Now let's go to another use case. Let's have the online order form with payment. This is an order form. Again, the same case. They can choose from espresso, americano, cappuccino. They can choose the size of the coffee. They can also have the additional options, and they can have delivery type. And this is where we can use this variable logic that I told you. So I would need to have a variable field that collects these costs. For example, if they choose espresso, I want the cost, this $5, to be added to a variable, which are here. And it's going to be price. I will show you how it looks in the logic. Let's go to advanced logic. So if, for example, the first one, select your coffee here, is 5, then I will need to add 5 to price. So it's automatically is going to be added to the price variable. And you will need to set this condition for every option, which is, for example, if it's 7, they will need to add 7 to price and so on. But because right now we have some additional options that, for example, they can choose the packaging, they can choose the delivery type. I'm also going to add with the logic, let's set the rules for this as well. So for example, if the size of their coffee is medium, this is going to be $1 plus. So I will add 1 to price again. And once you do it, you set it up and you add the amounts, then you're gonna, let me show you what it looks like. The price is gonna add up automatically by itself. So let's go, let's start. I will show you what it looks like. So let's choose espresso. So we have 5. Let's choose a medium. So we need to have $6. Let's make it a double shot, $9. And let's have delivered to our address. So we need to have $12, and you'll write your address here, for example. And then, yeah, there you can see that the total amount is going to be $12 for us. So they can pay after hitting the following button. Yes, so this is how you can use the variables, and especially when you're dealing with price. Another use case that we have is the cost calculator. Let's go here. So this basically, this is the same logic as with the quote forms and estimate forms as well. If you are preparing a quote, an estimate, you need to display the amounts, you need to display the quality, the payment. So you can use these forms to calculate everything for you. And we also have this, for example, dynamic, I mentioned quote, dynamic quote calculator. They can choose that if they're using, for example, SEO or PPC advertising or content marketing, then I would need to set the specific values that, for example, if they're going to choose SEO, how much is going to be added to the quote, how much is going to be payment, and also conditions for if they want to choose the size of their business and if they want to add any additional services. So let's go to the logic and let's see. So the same logic. So if the service is SEO, I want 200, let's assume it's cost $200, to be added to this variable, which is price without discount code. This form comes with the discount code, and you can actually set it up by yourself as well, then do the calculations with it. So if they have a discount code, we're gonna take it off from their amount. And this can be done with two types of variables. First one, with which was integer, which is collecting our values, and formula variable, where we're gonna do the calculation. So we go down and I will show you what it looks like. So I have this 3 variable fields. This is the variable where I'm collecting all this like values and scores from right here, from up here, that they're going to answer. Then I'm also doing, as you can see, this is the integer field, and the ID is the before price. You can set whatever ID that you want for your fields. And then this integer field, this variable field, is going to be formula. And you can decide the type from here. It's going to be formula because I'm going to calculate the processes. So I'm going to calculate what the discount code is going to be. So I will have the before price multiplied by 0.2. And this is going to do the calculation. So this field is going to be multiplied by 0.2. And then you can use the another variable field where the price is going to be deducted from one to another. So this is how you can achieve, how you can use the variables very quickly, quick examples to store the values and calculate and put formulas on these values. This was a quick overview of how you can use them. Now we also have another features of logic that Nush is going to go through. And once again, I encourage you to ask your questions in the comments below. Nush?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anano, and thank you for explaining the basics of logic and calculations, how variables work, and everything. Let's continue to how you can create grading quizzes. So, quizzes that automatically add values to different types of either personality types or I don't know, the score of the quiz, like an educational quiz, whatever you want to calculate in a quiz. So let's go over it and see how it works. So here you see a self-grading math quiz. It has some background image. You can customize everything right here in the design tab, but let's go over how the logic works. So first it's asking about the question, the student name and everything, and then we go to the questions. And by clicking on each of the fields, you can see the logic it has. So for example, here, when this question is answered, if the answer was option 3, we want to add 10 points to total score. So what's total score? It's a variable we've added to the form. It's right here, as you see. And let me click it. You can see it's a variable. You can add another variable, as many variables as you want here. So this is a variable. I've added some name for it so I can recall what it is. So it's total score, and it's storing the total score of this quiz. So by clicking on each of these questions and going to the logic tab, you can see how it's calculated, how the variable is calculated. So this question's right answer is option 3. So if they answer option 3, it will add 10 points to the total score. Any other option won't add anything to the total score, of course. Then here again, we have if again option 3 is selected, add 10 points to total score. Again, here we have if this value is selected, add 10 to total score. Again, here we have option 2, 5. If 5 is selected, then add 10. Each of these questions add 10 points to total score. So it's 100 in total, right? Because we have 10 questions. And if the user answers, chooses the right option on all of the fields, they will get 100 out of 100 score. So total score is out of 100 here. We've designed the quiz well, and it calculates the total score. So if I answer all of them correctly, but one of them wrong, I will get 90 out of 100. So this is our total score, and we also have a grade which can be calculated out of the total score. Let's see how it works. Let's go to advanced logic. So this is the basic logic I showed you on each of these questions. When this question is answered, a calculation is happening. Some score is added to the total score. Same on the rest of the questions until we get to the submitting event. So when the form is submitted, I want the form to calculate the grade. So if total score was greater or equal to 95, the grade should be A plus. So I will add A plus to grade. And if it was between 19 to 95, I want to add A to grade. And then we have A minus, B plus, B minus, and so on and so forth. So as you see here, and we have also otherwise. So if none of these were true, if it was less than 40, then it's failed. So I want to add the text failed to grade. And as you see here, these are text. I typed these, so you can change it however you want. For example, for failed students, something like that, right? So you can type down whatever you want, and it will add this value to the grade variable. And actually, I want to show you a very important thing on the grade variable is that when you click it, this variable has a type of text. That's why I was adding text value to the variable. If you change it to integer, integer is numeric variable. So you can add numbers, and actually total score is an integer. Its values are numeric because we're adding 10 points to each of the questions, right? So that's how you can create variables of different types and make sure that they store the correct format of responses. And by adding an ID to each of the variables, you can recall them. Anana showed you you can use answer piping to recall their values. So, for example, here in the ending page, I'm showing you scored at sign total score out of 100. So you remember total score was out of 100. So, for example, if by the end of the question, when the form is submitted, if total score has 80 points, it will show you scored 80 out of 100. So this is how you can calculate and show different responses based on the user, how the user inputs responses into your form. And the variable field has different types. It has integer, text. I showed you these two. It has decimal, which is a numeric value with decimal points. So it's good for, I don't know, price or anything similar. And then we have formula. And formula, I will show you how formula works, but it's good for writing a formula to calculate something. It's not conditional. Of course, you can do it. If it's conditional, you can do it in logic. But if it's something that is a formula, it's not conditional. It doesn't depend on any response on the form. Then you can do it in a formula variable. And how it works is it shows it gives you a default value where you can do your calculations. For example, you can multiply some variable by some other thing. So for example, let's say my quiz is out of 200, so I can multiply total score by 2. So this way, total score multiplied by 2, it's 200. So my quiz gets, this variable can calculate total score out of 200. So change it back to text as it was, and not save changes actually, and get back. I want to submit the form, so you see how it changes. So actually, okay, yeah. So let's submit the form, and actually let's answer randomly, and until the form is submitted. Okay, let's submit. So getting back to the application, as you know, you can edit the application, add any table or any block you want. So here I want to add a table block, and let's use this self-grading math quiz. And here you see my response, right? So you can see the responses, and you can see the total score. It's 60 out of 100, and the grade is C. So you see it calculated grade and total score automatically, so you don't have to do it manually. And I want to show you another example for personality quiz. This is going to be more complicated, and yet super easy to build in Formaloop. So this personality quiz is going to have 5 personality types. So it's the integrator, the socializer, the innovator, the observer, and the adventurer. So we will create a variable for each of these personality types, and we will add values to them. So by the end of the personality quiz, we can compare them. Which personality type has bigger weight, is weighs more. So that's the main personality type of that person. So this is how you can calculate it. And let me show you how it works in Form. So this is the personality quiz, and we have the questions here. By clicking on them and going to the logic tab, you can see how it's adding values to our variables. As I told you, we have 5 variables. Let me show you the variables first. So it's socializer, innovator, observer, and adventurer. Actually, we have 4 variables because the default variable is going to be the integrator, because it's our first ending page, so we don't need to create a separate one for it. And let me show you how it works. So the logic goes this way. Um, as a party, you tend to, if the answer to this question was option 1, we will add 1 point to socializer. If it was option 2, it's innovator. If it's option 3, it's observer, and option 4 is adventure, right? So this way we're adding values to our personality types and our variables. So this way we know which personality type weighs more in that person based on this question. Same applies to the next question and to the rest of the questions. Is adding values to each of the variables. And of course, the default is the integrator personality. And I will show you how exactly you can compare them. So by the end of the quiz, you see these are each of the questions, and you can see it's adding values to each of the personality types. And let's scroll down to the submitting event. So on submitting the form, we want to compare these variables and see which one is the greatest. So you have this in your logic rules, so you can set it up. So you want to say like, if socializer variable is the greatest among the other variables, then after submit, go to ending page. Actually, the ending pages, I haven't added a title to the ending pages. This is my bad. So going back to the form editor, you can add a title to each of the ending pages. So for example, this one can have a title of integrator. This one can have a title of socializer, and so on and so forth. So let's get back to advanced logic, and let me show you how it looks like. So getting back to submitting the form, here you see if the socializer was the greatest. After submitting, we want to show the ending page that's titled socializer. If innovator was the greatest, we want to show the ending page that's titled innovator. Like if you name it, you will know here, and you can select it easier. So it's my bad that I didn't select it, but of course, as I showed you, you can set names for ending pages, so you can select them easier here. And if it's observer, then we want to show its relevant ending page. And if it's adventure, again, it's relevant ending page. Otherwise, we want to show the integrator, which is the default personality type. So this is why we didn't create a variable for the integrator, and this is why we didn't use it in our logic, because we have like in your personality quiz, you always have a default personality type, or in your any quiz that you want to create, you have a default one, which is the otherwise rule, and make it the first ending page to make it easier to find, and that's the default. And by default, when the form is submitted, it shows the first ending page. But in other situations, you want to show different scenarios, different ending pages, and use these rules to find the biggest variable and show it on your form. So if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And I want to go on to notifications and email notifications. And I want to show you how you can build email notifications that that are customized for your form and for your business and for your use case. So you can customize your email notifications with your form responses, with anything you want, and you can find your custom emails here by clicking the App Store and clicking the custom emails. You can see all of the custom emails, and you can customize them by clicking this edit button. And yeah, as you see here, this is a custom email. We have written some text here, and we're using some of the fields from the form in the text. So as you see here, it's mentioning the field number and mentioning its value. So the field's value will be replaced into this item. So same, you can do it in email subject, in the subject of email. For example, if the first field is asking for the user's name, you can say hi name. On this form, it was the seventh field. So it says dear name. So this is how you can pipe values from your form and use them on your email. So here I have two versions of a custom email. One of them is feedback score 7 minus, and another one is feedback score 7 plus. So I want to create a conditional logic rule that, based on the user responses, calculates something and sends the right email, the right custom email to the right person, to that person, or to the admins. You can do both. So let's edit this form and explore how it works. So here we have a name and an email field. So it's asking for the user's name and their email. And if you go to the Notify tab, you can see two ways of sending notification emails. One of them is the notification email, which sends the email to you and your team. It means the admins of the dashboard, whoever who has access to this form. And here you can enter your email address and an email, a copy of the form submission will be emailed to you. And here you can forward the email to multiple people in your team or out of your team, but you can enter their name and make sure you separate the emails by a space. Use a space to separate the email addresses, and this is how it should look like. So I enter the email address and I click space. So this is how you make sure that your email is saved. Okay, and you can also use it email templates. These are the email templates I just showed you. The custom emails that you create will be added here. You can also add a new template here. So when you click that, you can create and customize another email template and use it in your system. So so in this case, let's disable this one and go back to the autoresponder email. This is the email that's sent to your audience, whoever that is submitting this form. So you can also select an email template for it, and you can also select to attach a PDF copy of the submission to that person. So if your form doesn't have an email field, this option is not selectable, of course, because you have to ask for the user's name first, and then formally can send an email to that address. So make sure you have an email field on your form, and if that's true, then you should be able to send email to the respondents. So here again, you can select the email template you want or create a new one, and that's how it works. But let's make it conditional. So I want to add a choice option here and say uh, what's your device, right? So I will give options like desktop, computer, and mobile, and laptop. And publish the form. So before going to logic, you should make sure that you have published your form changes. And let's select this field, go to logic, and here you can set a rule. For example, if they selected um, I don't know, mobile, I want to add some values to a variable. You can do that and then use the value of that variable in your ending page. But let's go to advanced logic. I want to show you how you can set conditional rules on this field and in the form submission event. So let's say when the form is submitted, if the answer to um, this question, what device you're using, was mobile, then I want to send an email using either of the email addresses here. So you can choose whichever email address you want and select the email address. So here I have selected the email field that is here. So the user will get an email with this template and to this email address, the email address they entered on the form here. So this is how you can set conditional rules, and you can say, for example, otherwise send another email address. So this is also another good way to handle and send conditional emails to the users. And we have had webinars before. We discussed this. We showed you how exactly you can customize emails. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel for more videos. We have specific videos for how you can customize emails, and we have some help articles on the website on help.formalu.com. Make sure to check them out. They're very comprehensive and explain everything you need to know on how to customize your emails. So yeah, this is how you can customize the email notification. Send one email to a specific person, and send another email to that person if something else happens. So same can happen here. So for example, you can calculate a variable, calculate a score here in a variable, and use that variable's value in logic. So let me show you in advanced logic. So here, instead of checking this, the answer to this question, you can make it more complicated. Use a variable, calculate something in it, and then use the value of the variable here and compare it. See, like if it was bigger than 10, then you want to send an email. If it was less than 10, then you want to send another email. Or you can make it even more complicated. It was between 10 and 8, for example, an NPS score. If the NPS score was between 10 and 8, you want to send a happy email that says, oh, thank you, we're happy that you replied this way. But if it was, I don't know, between 8 and 5, some other email, 5 to 2, and 2 to 1, maybe some different email. So you can do that as well in your logic and calculations. So here again, you can say if score was greater than 5, then send some email. So this is how you can manage it, and you can make it like between some values and calculate whatever you want. And let's go to something exciting now. Here I want to show you how you can use Formula AI to make life easier. And I want to show you some example. So this is a customer persona generator. It's using AI, and based on the questions, AI is checking your piping the values on your form. And here we have our AI prompt on the ending page, and you can customize the AI prompt, of course, but you can add multiple ending pages and redirect the user to that ending page with that AI prompt. So this is also a creative way to use different AI prompts in your logic. Let me show you an example here. So we have a sales email generator, and here you can add your AI prompt in the ending page, and let's add another ending page. So for example, another ending page for your different scenarios and different use case. So let's copy the whole prompt. Actually, let's copy the whole prompt, paste it here, and you can change it in this case. So for example, I want to um, add something like you can change anything in here. So customize the AI prompt, change it however you want. And to make sure that we can recall it in logic, I will rename it to prompt 1 and rename this one to prompt 2, right? So let's publish this. Good. So this is prompt 1, and this one is prompt 2. So we have 2 prompts. Let's go to advanced logic. And here on submitting the form, you can use different rules. So for example, if voice tone was selected as, I don't know, authoritative, then after submit, go to ending page prompt 2. Otherwise, it goes to prompt 1. something like this. So this is how you can use different AI prompts after the form is submitted and show different results to the user. Like, I mean, the possibilities are endless, right? So imagine you can create different apps and tools, like mini tools that show the user different responses based on their answers, and it's using AI to make it more creative, to make it more personalized for that user's responses, and shows them something really, really customized for them. So I think it's a really good way of engaging users and personalizing content for them. And of course, you can use formal AI in many different ways. You can also analyze your responses. We will have more tutorials for AI analytics and how you can use formal AI in analyzing different responses on your forms and everything. But stay tuned for those webinars. And I hope this webinar was helpful for you. Let us know any questions you might have. Leave us comments. Let us know what use cases you have. And if you have any specific use cases that you want us to host webinars for, let us know as well. Like leave us comments on the website chat or right here, and give us use cases. We will organize more webinars around those use cases. So I think we're over time. I wish we could answer the questions, but I will make sure that we post videos after this webinar, and we will answer your questions in those webinars. So please stay tuned for the videos we're going to publish. We will answer all of your questions during the videos on the videos, and thank you all for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. You're going to see video tutorials, and also we're going to go through, because you submitted so many questions, so many different use cases. We're going to make sure to cover all of them. Thank you for being with us. Those who attended and who registered for the webinar, you're going to receive the recording, this dashboard itself. So, yeah, happy formuloing till our next meeting.
Thank you guys, have a great day, and